Hi, my name is Jonathan, and today I'll be discussing Guest Tech Interactive Entertainment International Sales for IBM 414 Winter 2017. My teammates are Hee Jing Kang and Xian New Wu Chen. Guest Tech Global Opportunities. In 2003, 97% of Guest Tech Interactive Entertainment Ltd. or Guest Tech's revenue was derived from the North American market. A year later, growing pressure from investors to achieve greater results mounted due to Guest Tech's decision to go public. This was in January of 2004. The CEO of Guest Tech needed to make the decision of if and how his company should grow its business globally. Company background. Guest Tech was founded in Calgary, Canada in March of 1997. Since the late 1990s, Guest Tech established itself as a leader and provider of high-speed internet access in hotels, primarily within the North American market. Guest Tech branded, marketed, and sold their high-speed internet service as Global Suite, a high-speed internet solution for top-tier hotels, generally 3-star hotels and above. Guest Tech provided their service by installing an internet network which would allow its users to connect to the internet via access points in guest rooms, conference rooms, and common areas within the hotel. Global Suite was a high-speed internet solution for both travelers and hotel operators alike. Guest Tech, the company background. Global Suite had a 99% success rate, which allowed it to secure some of the world's finest hotel chains. It had raised sales to $17.2 million for the 9 months ending December 31st, 2003. It also successfully completed an initial public offering, or IPO, of $44.6 million. At this time, the company's total staff was comprised of fewer than 150 employees and run from their headquarters in Calgary, Canada. The hospitality industry. Guest Tech focused their efforts almost exclusively on serving the hotel industry, specifically hotels in the 3, 4, and 5-star range, all located within Canada and the United States. During this time, the company had left markets in Europe, Asia, and South America virtually unexplored. At this time, a general understanding within the industry developed which held that travelers preferred high-speed internet access as opposed to dial-up because of speed, convenience, and cost-effectiveness. For hotel owners, operators, and managers, high-speed internet had become a way of attracting potential guests. The North American market. North America was second only to Europe in terms of both total number of hotels, with more than 65,000, and the total number of hotel rooms, with more than 5 million. It is important to note that at this time, 40% of the world's business travel was conducted within North America. North America also led the world in terms of its penetration rate of total hotels equipped with high-speed internet access, or in other words, the total proportion of hotels equipped with high-speed internet. And it also led the world in the frequency with which the service was used, known as the usage rate. As these rates increased in the North American market, so did the rate of saturation, which was speculated to happen within 2 to 3 years of the release of Global Suite. Providing high-speed internet access to 1, 2, and 3-star hotels began sparking interest as companies searched for new growth opportunities. North America was home to 85 different hotel brands, as well as independent boutique hotels. Guest Tech was the certified supplier of 8 of these brands: Accor, Carlson Hospitality, Choice, Hilton, Hyatt, Intercontinental Hotel Groups, Marriott, and Starwood. In total, Global Suite had installed with 35 different brands and 40 independent hotels. Global Suite Solution. Guest Tech's response to demand for high-speed internet access was Global Suite, an easy-to-use plug-and-play solution for internet connectivity. A hotel guest could connect their own laptop or personal computer and gain access to the internet quickly without having to tamper with a computer's settings or hardware. Wireless solutions were becoming increasingly common during this time, allowing users with wireless interface cards to connect from hotspots located in lobbies, bars, and other public areas. Because it was less demanding in terms of infrastructure, wireless access was actually more cost-effective than its manually counterpart. And by February of 2004, 70% of GuestTech's installations involved some degree of wireless functionality. Global Suite was developed for the hotel guest and the hotel operator in mind, providing a complete solution for high-speed internet services while offering a system that required little knowledge to run and maintain from a manager's perspective. Thank you. Now Heejing will continue.
Continuing from what Jonathan was saying, GuestTech's business model was that GuestTech deployed its own project managers and installation professionals to the hotel to set the system up. By managing the installations within the company, they maintained control over costs, timelines, and the quality. Installation took a few days and usually happened within 4 to 6 weeks of a contract being signed. The company was able to install the internet service in 40 to 50 hotels per month. One-time revenues came from software licensing, installation service charges, and the network equipment, which could range from $100 to $350. The gross margin was about 35 to 45% and had recurring revenues from maintenance and call center support. North American competition. GuestTech's direct competition was Wayport and STSM. Those companies had services in approximately 600 hotels, and GuestTech had approximately 360 at the time. Wayport, which was based in Austin, had preferred status with 4 Seasons hotels, airports, and 75 McDonald's restaurants in California. STSN, which was based in Salt Lake City, was partially owned by Marriott, and most of their installations were at the Marriott hotels. Other internet access was provided by in-room entertainment companies, cable companies, ISPs, data networking companies, and local telephone network operators. GuestTech had a strong advantage compared to its competitors because of key competitive elements, which were comprehensive solutions, ease of deployment, wireless capability, security, connectivity rates, end-user support, and it was also reasonably priced. The sales and marketing department. The revenue generation was overseen by the Vice President of Sales and Marketing. He had an undergraduate finance degree and an MBA in enterprise development from the University of Calgary. The VP of Sales and Marketing had a team of 24 and were responsible for all of the geographic regions. There were no sales and marketing staff allocated to the other geographic regions. Direct sales were conducted by GuestTech's representatives working at GuestTech's head office, traveling to visit potential customers. Indirect sales were pursued through partnerships and alliances with complementary service providers through independent agents who sold Global Suite on a freelance basis. Direct sales. Direct sales began with GuestTech sales reps contacting groups of hotels that shared commonalities. Inside sales representatives' objectives were to generate leads for direct sales representatives. Inside and direct sales representatives preferred to work with hotel ownership and management groups rather than the individual hotels. Indirect sales through resellers. Indirect method most commonly involved partnerships with technology resellers who licensed the Global Suite software as part of their own solutions. GuestTech's only activity in this process was to manage the relationship with the resellers, which was a method that was employed through the French technology reseller Locatel. The reseller channel was a low-cost, low-risk method of entering new markets, especially when GuestTech did not have expertise or presence in those markets. GuestTech had no control over the installation or support aspects of the solution and consequently could not control the quality, customer service, or the overall user experience. Now Yanyi will be speaking with you about the indirect sales through agents. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'm going to continue with the other methods that GuestTech uses. So GuestTech also uses indirect sales through agents. Tech also sold Global Suite indirectly through agents, although this method was less common. They were self-employed freelancers who took percentage of the revenue from each sale. There were currently 2 agents operating for Tech in Latin America, and the 2 regions were Argentina and Trinidad. The expansion challenge that Tech faced was that at the beginning there was 3.0 million of the IPO proceeds had specifically been allocated for the international sales and marketing initiative. And the company's executives believed that they could make up for their lack of international experience with their superior technology, turning their solution with technical expertise, sales skills, and hotel market experience. However, the international sales could also be framed as both an opportunity and competitive requirement because the North American branches of the hotel brands wanted the solutions they chose. So they wanted to also be available to their international branches. This could also mean that international sales could be considered as a risk because Tech was unfamiliar with those markets. And some of the methods that Tech uses in their geographic choices was that they had a few questions once they tried to approach to segment their markets using geographic choices. And some of the questions the company had were that number 1, which markets were the most attractive? And number 2, how those markets should be pursued? And number 3, the third question is how the overseas business should be pursued. And the executive set a goal for Tech. So they wanted 15 to 20% of the new installations revenue outside of North America. And once they did the geographic segmentation, they actually separated different markets. So they had the European market for the first part, and then they had higher concentration of hotels and steeper demand for high-speed internet access made the United Kingdom and continental Europe the focus. So that was part of the European market. And another important point about the European market is that the European hotels require high-speed internet access as a necessary service to offer. And the European hotel managers were more inclined to pay higher prices for better solutions. Another point about the European market is that countries vary considerably in culture, language, business practices, the balance between business and pleasure travel, internet use, and broadband penetration among the general population. And they also saw the direct competition from North America, who viewed Europe as a natural growth area. The Latin American market. So it was a higher ratio of pleasure travel to business travel in Latin America resulted in lower demand for high-speed internet access among travelers. In the Latin American market had lower penetration in the Latin American homes because it limited the demands. And this low demand caused also poor communications between the infrastructures that could raise the revenue for solutions. Another important point about the Latin American market is that the Tech decided to approach South America as an extension to the companies in the North American region to expand its activities in Latin America. Another market when they segmented was the Asia Pacific market. And the Asia Pacific market had good usage rate, as good as the North American market. It was expected to rise quickly, and the Asia Pacific region, like Europe, was diverse. And that was another point that I mentioned before in the geographic choices. In the Asia Pacific market, Tech had a few relationships in the area and no staff members with Asia expertise. And in this region, the solution would have a higher risk. This means that only offering revenue share for a share of the user's fee. So this will be the method that could lead to a higher profit. And the management of the international business, this will be part of the conclusion of this case study. And the main questions that the CEOs had for the company is that how and where to sell Global Suite. So these were one of the main questions. The second question is how to manage the business and actually install the solution for a higher cost and lower cost, and lower revenue. And the travel overseas properties for both sales and installations could be costly due to time and distance involved. So those are the main questions that you should think about when you analyze an international business. So the management of international business, the solutions that they found out is that they had to set up local offices with local presence, knowledge, connections, and acceptance. The second solution will be an overseas office could be built with transplanted North American personnel and local personnel, or a mix of the two. Some of the challenge that GuestTech experienced was that first, they were unsure what levels of management to use for more effectiveness in foreign markets. And the second main challenge was that what area deserved more attention and leadership. And so this is the conclusion of our presentation. I hope.
Thank you for listening to our case presentation for GuestTech.
So this was the summary for GuestTech International Business Case Study.
I hope you enjoyed listening to our presentation and that it was informational for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.